Good afternoon. Time for an afternoon edition, a lunchtime edition of Mornings with Stanley. I had the week off, so it's been a week since I've done this. Got Lucy here and Stanley. They had a good day, I guess, today. They were both outside when I got home. So I guess they've been enjoying the cool, sunny weather. So, some of you are probably thinking, Andy, what did you do to your hair? Well, I did cut it off, didn't I? Yes, I did. I wanted to cut it off, not all of it off, not as much as I did off. But I ordered some of those clippers, do-it-yourself haircut things, you know, you can hold in the palm of your hand. It's more difficult than I thought, than the YouTube videos made it out to be. Now, I had a lot of hair, it was almost getting to be a mullet, and I didn't want a mullet. So I went the opposite direction. I wanted it short, a little bit longer than it is. But I had those little guards on it, you know, to keep you from cutting too much off. And I put that thing down. I was looking in the mirror, the handheld mirror, to see the back of my head. And there's part of the back of my head that I wasn't able to get. And it's just... Anyway, I picked it back up and the guard had fallen off. And I started doing part of my head that I wanted shorter or wanted longer than it was. And so I cut it all the way down. It's like, oh my goodness, I've cut it all the way down. So I had to cut the rest of my hair off. So that's what happened. But people have been nice to me and saying it looks okay. But I don't know. I thought about opening the worship service today and the announcement time with that story I think I talked about a couple weeks ago about Elisha and the hey baldy head. But I didn't. I shouldn't make a big deal out of it. I was embarrassed. I didn't go outside hardly at all. I did that on Tuesday, and I went to the post office once, and I went to the grocery store once, and I had one of those knit caps on, covered up my head. You wouldn't be able to tell. You might not even be able to tell it was me with my mask and that hat on. But anyway, I made it, and today I decided to not be ashamed of it anymore. I did what I did. It might be my last do-it-yourself haircut. We'll see. We shall see. Anyway, both dogs I think they're ready to go for a walk, because we didn't go for a walk today because, well, Sunday and I went to church. And that's my excuse. Lucy smiles like a human does. Stanley smiles with his tail. Stanley doesn't like it when I pay attention to Lucy. I swear I pet them all the time. I don't know what it's like, they cannot get enough. Anyway, I'm going to put you outside so we can get on our thing. It was a pretty good week with doing very little, with the exception of cutting too much of my hair off, and relaxed, stayed up later than I normally do, got up later than I normally do, and not a whole lot happened. A few church business administrator, her family, several people have COVID, and she's sick, but she hadn't been tested positive. Anyway, so she's going to be out for another week at least. And anyway, lots of people have got it. Lots of people recovered. You know, I've just known that one person, lady from Newcastle, who died of it. But I know the hospitals are just overwhelmed right now. It's an awful thing. Awful, awful thing. Here is our reading today, the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verses 27 and 28. I love these verses. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. You heard me say to you, I am going away, and I am coming to you. If you loved me, you would rejoice that I am going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. The Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thanks be to God. And now our reading from Christian Maturity, the Sunday of week 36. What he has, he saves. We've been looking at several attempted shortcuts out of inner stress and tension. Eventually they lead into a wilderness. And Eros religion, which is egocentric religion, just does that. For Eros religion depends upon the self to get rid of the problems of self. It is the attempt to lift oneself by one's own bootstraps, by the use of slogans, by techniques, while helping momentarily like happy pills. None of these methods gets to the basis of the problem of self-centered preoccupation. They may even increase it by calling attention to the self and its problems. Only agape religion is the answer, for agape has at its center divine self-giving. The agape love sacrifices itself for us and our redemption. This agape love then creates us in its own likeness. Self-giving creates self-surrender in us. When that takes place, then we get ourselves off our own hands and into the hands of God. Until that self-surrender takes place, you are at attention, for you belong in God's hands and in no other place. Outside of God's hands, you are at tension. Inside of God's hands, you can let go, relax, and know that you are at home. Listen to this. From this ashram experience, I carry in my heart today a peace and composure that is a surprise to me. I did not realize that I could surrender the burdens, most of which I had created for myself, to Jesus. It is wonderful how much easier things have become this way. I like it. And this is the woman who, when her husband left her for another woman, tried to show herself, her children, and her grandchildren that she was just as good as and better than the other woman. She tried to show it by devoted service as a nurse to lepers. One woman put it this way: it is so comfortable to get yourself off your own hands into the hands of God. It is. There you are released and relaxed and can rejoice. It is comfortable, very. There is no real remedy for tension and stress this side of or outside of self-surrender. A complete self-surrender. What he has, he saves from tension and stress. Here's our prayer for today. Gracious Father, I'm so grateful that there is an open door out of my tensions. It is at your feet where I lay myself down completely with no strings attached. My tensions are the result of running away from you. Save me. Amen. I forgot to mention that today, well, it's my dad's birthday. He would have been 95 today. And it's E. Stanley Jones' birthday. He was born January 3rd, 1883. Here's our affirmation for the day. Tension and stress are sin. Sin against the grace of God, which is always at hand. Jesus is Lord.